All right, guys, how are we? Welcome in here to the Slaughterhouse Sports. Spencer G here. What a wild story I got to tell y'all tonight. Oregon Ducks, just coming off of a loss to the Ohio State Buckeyes. They have a quarterback out there that they just got in the 2025 class. His name is, tell you his name, Jaron Sagapolutele, all right? And Jaron Sagapolutele, he's from Hawaii, okay? Dylan Gabriel knows about this guy. 6'4" quarterback, lefty, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the class. If I had to honestly say what quarterbacks are probably going to play in the NFL, it might be rude to not say Bryce Underwood, but I would probably go with Tavion St. Clair, number one for sure. And then I'd maybe go with Jaron. Jaron would be really high. He'd probably be in the top 5 of quarterbacks. You got Deuce Knight, who's a very, very good quarterback. Julian Lewis can flat out play. There's a couple of other players, but meanwhile, I think that this quarterback, I mean, I know Akili Smith played at Oregon, but Jaron, I think, can be just as good as Akili Smith. And Akili has a chance. Akili has a really big arm. Akili Smith Jr., the son of Akili Smith. He's from San Diego, has a huge arm, really has a shot to be very, very good. But I think that Jaron, I'm surprised that Georgia is not going to go after Jaron. So the craziest part of the story is that Cal was interested in Jaron, and then Jaron commits to Oregon. So then Jaron goes to Oregon for the bowl practices for 2 straight weeks, and you think he's an Oregon Duck, and then you think that it's signed, sealed, delivered, it's over. But meanwhile, he's in the transfer portal, and he hasn't even enrolled. He hasn't even gone to a class at Oregon yet. So this is wild. I mean, this quarterback, literally as a high school senior, he was a mid-year enrollee, and he was going to go to Oregon, and he might have even gone to some practices at Oregon. And then he's like, I'm bouncing because I'm probably not going to start next year. Dante Moore's going to start, and maybe even Cal. Maybe Cal came in and gave more money to this player. So maybe more suitors out there like Georgia or Cal continued to tamper and said, I'm going to pay you even more money. But why would you even go to Oregon when nothing really changes? Why would you see their bowl practices, get all their intel on their offense, and now you're going to go to Cal just to start? So already very frustrating for Oregon because they're really excited about a quarterback in this 2025 class, and this quarterback is decommitting from Oregon in a way that we've almost never seen it before. So I think there's going to be guardrails on this stuff. Like, I think that once you commit to a school, like I believe in your contract, it's going to say that you're going to be there 2 years before you can transfer, unless a coach gets fired or some other circumstance, like maybe a family member sick or something. But this is frustrating for Oregon Duck football. Really, really frustrating. It's just as frustrating as Evan Stewart not really being available to play in the biggest game of the season. So I bet you that Oregon takes the regular season differently. Like, they're going to look at some games and say, okay, if we don't play that great, we don't need to go for style points and go 13-0 anymore. We need to peak at this point of the season. But this really hurts for Oregon because I look at Jaron Sagapolutele. I think he's an NFL quarterback, and I even see him with more upside than even Nico Yamiyea. I do. Like, I see this guy as he's thick-bodied. He's 6'4". He can move. He's a big guy, but he's mobile enough. He's mobile and twitchy enough, has great touch on the deep ball, huge arm, can make pretty much every throw. Like, I view him up there with Tavion St. Clair. I'd maybe even have him better than Bryce Underwood. That's how good this player is. So on the open market, if I'm Georgia, I'm spending, like, on this player, I'm probably spending $4 million on him. And I mean, I guess Ryan Puglisi, that's not an easy name to say either. Ryan Puglisi looks like he could possibly be the solution at quarterback next year, or maybe Jaden Rashada. I'm not sure that I saw a lot from Gunnar Stockton. But for Oregon, this sucks. This absolutely sucks. This is absolutely craziness in college football that you can literally go to bowl practices, look at all their intel, and be at a campus for 2 weeks and then just bounce. So, listen, there is freedom to college football, but at the same time, your commitment almost has to mean something. If you keep flip-flopping and you transfer before you even start college football, like, that's just odd. That's just crazy. That's just disingenuous, not only to Cal, but to Oregon. Like, Oregon's excited. Like, Oregon won on National Signing Day, and now you're going to go out there and leave immediately to go to Cal. So I just think that when you make up your mind, like, especially with something like that, there maybe should be a period where you at least spend a year, like, searching it out. So I get it. It's ultimate freedom to the players. It's tough for the Oregon Ducks that won a huge recruiting battle, but I guess it's life. And who knows now what's going to happen? Who knows what NIL is going to be freed up? You look at the quarterback room, and it's going to be Dante Moore out there slinging the rock next year, and I'm excited for that. Alrighty, guys, but Cal's going to get somebody, and then what I really think is going to happen is he's going to play 1 year at Cal, and I don't think he's going to end up being a Bear for all 3 years, if that's what happens. But I could be surprised, and listen, he's free to do what he wants. Probably a great guy. I would have went about it, I guess, differently, or I think it's frustrating for Oregon, or it's literally 2 weeks, so it just is, it's wild. I guess it's the new normal in college football is this. So I think that it would be healthier for everybody involved if, like, when you committed to a school, like, there's a contract saying, like, you got to be there at least 1 or 2 years, so that I think the constant transferring isn't really ideal for any sort of chemistry or with any player development whatsoever. I think it's better long-term if the player actually, like, tries to develop within a program that he commits to, and let's have it be for like a year or two before transferring. But we'll see. We'll see what all goes down. All right, but Jaron is a stud player. Do wish him the best. Good guy by all accounts. So, but yeah, just commenting on it. Really, it's very interesting here. Very early in the process to transfer. Jaron Sagapolutele on the move.